Hello everyone, welcome to lecture notes of Introduction to Programming. In this video, I am going to give a small demonstration among Introduction to Programming. So myself, I am K. Kiran Kumar, working as Assistant Professor in CSE Department of Vignan's Foundation for Science, Technology and Research, Vadlamudi. So before going to the concept of introduction to programming, as a programmer, first of all we have to know two basic things of introduction to programming. So this particular introduction to programming is officially called and popularly known as C language. So any language, if you want to develop programs, we must know the process of how to programming. So in this video I am going to tell you how to do the programming. So to develop the programming, first of all we need two basic terms, that is our language is, here we are discussing the C language. So if you want to go programming through C language, first of all we have to know two terms, that one is language, another one is computer language. First of all, we have to know the basic difference between language and computer language. So first one, language. Language is nothing but it is a set of instructions that are used together to communicate among the two objects. As we are all human beings, when we want to communicate together, we must need one mediator among them to communication in a flexible way. So the language is nothing but it is a set of statements that we can share among two objects to communicate together. We know that. So we know different languages we have, that is English, Telugu, Tamil. We know there are more languages are there. We know these are the popular languages to communicate together among the persons in order to share their information. Okay. Then what is computer language? Computer language is also a set of instructions that we can write or that we can pass through the machine, that is computer. So any electronic device if you take, if you want to communicate with that particular electronic device, we must need a language. So that language is nothing but computer language. So if you want to communicate, if you want to interact with the computer machine, you must know the computer languages. So these are the basic difference between language and computer language. Okay. So why we need this particular computer language? We know normal general languages, we know that why we are using that general languages to communicate together. In order to communicate with the machine also, there is a particular languages are there computer languages. Why we need this particular computer languages? That is our next one. So this is about language and why we need these languages. Why we need these computer languages? I will tell you. First of all, if you take a person, when he wants to communicate with another person, if they want to share their information to general purpose languages, that is Telugu or English or whatever it may be, for example if you take English, they can communicate. But whenever a person want to communicate with the machine, that is computer, you want to if they want to communicate with the machine, then how it is possible? Why we need to communicate with the computer? Why we have to interact with the computer? For example, if I ask you the question, what is a 5 factorial? Anyone can answer easily. The 5 factorial is 120. Okay. Again, I will ask another question. What is the factorial for value for 120? Nobody can answer. Why? Because it is the largest complex operation. We cannot, as a human beings, we cannot done that operation instantly. If I ask that question, we cannot give the value instantly, but we can give the value by taking some time. So instead of doing these type of complex operations manually, it is better to go with the machines, that is electronic devices. For example, if you want to calculate the 120 factorial with the help of calculator, you will get the value within fraction of seconds. That is the advantage of machines or electronic devices. So that's why we have to interact with the machines or electronic devices. And as a human beings, if you go for calculation of 120 factorial, sometimes we will do some mistakes. There might be a chance of getting inaccurate values, wrong values. But when we are dealing with the machine give accurate values within a less span of time. That is the only reason we are communicating with the electronic devices or computer in order to execute complex operations in an easy way. So that's why we have to communicate with the computer. Okay, this is the need for interacting with the computer. Okay, then how we can communicate with the computer? We can communicate, we cannot directly communicate with the computer. We cannot directly pass the instructions to the computer. Why? Because the computer knows only its own language in the form of zeros and ones. But we don't know zeros and ones as a human beings. We know only our current languages, English or Telugu, whatever it may be. But we have to interact with the computer. We have to work with the computer. Then how it is possible? We cannot directly communicate, directly pass the instructions by using our own language. Then you have to learn programming languages. If you want to interact with the computer, it is possible only through writing the programs. What is a program? Program is nothing but set of instructions or statements that we can write in order to communicate with the computers. Okay, if you want to communicate with the computer, we don't know this particular zeros and ones language. It is possible through only programming languages. Then how many types of programming languages are there? Now you understand what is a programming language. The language that is specifically designed to develop the programs. What is a program? Program is nothing but a set of instructions. So if you want to interact with the computer, first of all you have to learn any one of the programming language. In that one of the programming language, the basic programming language is our C programming language. Okay, if you want to communicate with the computer, learn any one of the programming language, either C or C++ or Java or .NET. So you have to learn any one of the programming language. You learn it, and you have to get more knowledge on that particular programming language. You have to become an expert in that programming language in order to develop applications. Why? Because, for example, I want to communicate one person in English or in Telugu or Malayalam. First of all, I have to know completely about that language, then only the communication is flexible. In the same way, if you want to communicate with the computer, it is possible through only programming language. You learn any one of the programming language and you have to practice it, and you have to become an expert in that particular programming language. Then only you can develop the applications or softwares. So this is the need for programming languages. Programming languages are used to communicate with the computer to pass the set of instructions. Okay. So in that, in this video, I am going to tell you the basic programming language, that is our C language. So in this video, I am going to cover different contents. My contents are, these are my contents I am going to cover in this video. The first of all, the history of C language. Second one, structure of C program. And third one, C character sets. And fourth one, C tokens. So first one, history of C language. So I am going to tell you the basic history of C language. So this is history of C. If you take, it is our responsibility to learn what are the how many persons they have involved for the development of this particular programming language that we have to learn. That is the history of C language. So initially, to develop this type of particular language, the initial work has started in 1960 by the group of international group. They have developed the language called ALGOL, Algorithm Oriented Language, by the international group in the year 1960. So what this ALGOL means, they have written some set of statements, they have written some set of lines, small lines, in order to get the specific behavior from the machine. So initially they have started the work, and it is not, it is having so much limitations, it is having so much of disadvantages. By taking that work, again research has done by different programmers, and they have reached the milestone in the next year in 1967. They have developed basic combined programming language, BCPL, basic combined programming language, in the year 67. It is developed by the Martin Richards and his team in the year 1967. Compared to it, they have taken the work. They have taken the work previously from ALGOL, and they have defined some set of instructions in advanced way. They have combined the features from ALGOL and BCPL, and they have named it as basic combined programming language. Small programming statements they have developed to get the behavior from the machine in the year 1967 by the team of Martin Richards and his team. And next, again the research is going on, user requirements are more, we have to develop operations, and we have to execute operations, and we have to handle more data sets. Then how it is possible? Again the research is going on in USA. After in 1970, they have developed, B language was developed by taking the work from BCPL and ALGOL. They have named it as B language, that is developed by Ken Thompson in the year 1970. So in the year 1970, B language was developed by Ken Thompson by evolving the features from BCPL. Why it is named as B language means it has taken some features from BCPL. The first name of language is alphabet is B. That's why Ken Thompson named it as B language. Again, it is developed in the USA. The laboratory name is also Bell Laboratories. That name is also started with B. That's why he named it as B language, and it was developed in the year 1970. So B language is having its response is very good. It is useful for smaller data sets. Memory is also small range of memory it is taking, and registers are they are using for storing the memory values. So these are the advantages. But again, some disadvantages are there. Some more number of operations we have to done. Largest complex operations are not possible. We have to store more amount of data in the memory. So these are the remarks they have identified in the year 1970. Again, the research is going on with the help of next team, that is called traditional C language, that is developed by Dennis Ritchie. So the traditional C language that is developed by Dennis Ritchie in the year 1973. So he is the person developing this particular traditional C language. He has developed this particular language in an efficient way. That means they have added more number of features like modularity, data types, keywords, or more number of features they have added by evolving the work from B language, and he has named it as traditional C language, and it was developed in the year 1973. So officially more persons they have involved in the development of this particular C language, but we can say officially the father of this particular C language is Dennis Ritchie. So again, Dennis Ritchie has identified some remarks in this particular programming language, largest complex operations, how we have to do it, and how the memory will be allotted, more number of memory will be allocated. These are the some remarks I have identified. Again, they have research will be done. In that research, Ken Thompson, Kernighan has another programmer, he has added with the Dennis Ritchie, and they have developed more number of features, and they have developed it, and they have again reached the milestone in the year 1979, and they have named it as K&R C language, Kernighan and Dennis Ritchie C language. It was developed by both of Kernighan and Ritchie, and they have named it as K&R C, and they have released that particular language in the year 1978. After that, again it is a pure language, it is having no limitations, it responds very well according to the user requirements. So this particular programming language is very good. So that's why at the year of 1979 they have decided to show this particular language to the American National Standard Institute, ANSI. So any new product, any new thing is discovered at the time 1979, ANSI will recognize it, and it officially has to approve it for the releasing it as broadcastly. So that's why ANSI has taken that, and ANSI has prepared one technical committee to verify this particular language, verify the features it is useful for the end user or not. After technical committee has came and they have verified this particular language is very good, machine is responding very nicely, and they have approved it in the year of 1989, that it is approved by the ANSI committee, American National Standard Institute committee. So after ANSI is approved it has decided, ANSI, why can't we release this particular programming language throughout the world, and they have a memorandum with, they have interacted with ISO, International Standard Organization, and they have a memorandum with the ANSI ISO, and they have, the ISO is also verified, it is very good, it is very, response is very good. So that's why can't we release this particular language throughout the world, and ANSI and ISO, they have released it by renaming it as ANSI ISOC with the help of ISO committee in the year 1990. So in the year 1990, this C language is officially throughout the world, it has released ANSI ISO C by adding more number of features in the year 1990. After that, small features they have added in 98, say it is renamed it as the C98 C language, C98. In the 1999 it is renamed it as C99. So our small modifications have done. So this is the brief history. Why we have to know this particular language history means, this particular, if you take any programming language, the basic programming language is C language. So if you learn C language perfectly, you can do any programming language in a flexible way. That is the main advantage of C language, and this is the brief introduction history of C language. Coming to our next concept, that is our structure of C program. Now we know the programming, we know why we need programming, and we know why we need C language, and who developed this particular language, and what is the history. We know up to now we know that. Then coming to, if you want to write the programming, you have to learn the C programming language. So how to learn it? What are the main contents of C programming language? If I want to write some set of lines, statements within a C language, how is it possible? That is the concept of structure of C program. So if you want to write some programs in a C language, how we have to write the program? So that program will consist of a number of sections. You know what is the meaning of structure? If you take index of a book, what is the meaning of index? That thing, what are the possible sections that will cover in that particular book? Like the structure of C program also, if you want to write the program, what are the possible ways of sections we can include in that particular single program? That is a concept. So in that section of C program, there are 5 to 6 main sections are there if you want to write the program in a C language. The first one is documentation section. Documentation section means if you want to write any program, for example, I want to add 2 integers or 2 numbers. I want to add 2 numbers. For example, consider my A equal to 10 and B equal to 5 I have taken. I want to add these 2 numbers, and system has to take it and computer has to run it. It has to produce the output 15 by taking another variable C. How is it possible through computer? Through my program only. So in that program, I have to take 2 variables A comma B. I have to store the values A10, B5 and C5. It has to produce a result. Okay. So my program is here addition of 2 integers. I want to describe it with the help of a documentation section. So documentation section means what you are going to done throughout every statement within your program. If you want to describe it, why you have to describe? As a programmer, I am writing the instructions, I know it. But why there is a need for documentation? If somebody sees your program, if somebody looks into your program, they have to understand what this particular statement is going to be done. So with the help of documentation section only, it will be possible. So here this particular documentation section will be represented in the form of comments. That we will elaborate in the next slide. Comments. So the documentation section can be done with the help of comments. Comments are having 2 types, single line comments and multiple line comments. That we will cover. Okay. So this is the important section, documentation section. Coming to another second section, linkage section. What is the meaning of linkage? By seeing that word, you can understand something. Linkage means we are linking something. So this is my program. For example, my program name is add.c. It is a file extension. Consider my program name is add. So I am writing some statements within my program. Sometimes you have to include, you have to link some system related functions, some system related files. There is a need for including. What is the system functions? The developer of C language, Dennis Ritchie, they have defined they have at the time of defining the language, they have already defined some system functions, system library files. Sometimes in your program there is a need to you to include those type of functions. Then you have to use this particular linkage section. This particular section can be used to link the system related library functions. How we can link it? With the help of pre-directive statements. That I will cover in the next slide. Okay. Coming to definition section. Sometimes you have to define some values in your programming. For example, if you take pi value, pi. I want to perform some operation on pi. What is the general value of pi? 3.17. You know that. So every time in my program I have to use pi. Every time I have to use 3.17. Then we have to use, instead of this particular, every time I am writing 3.17, simply I will define pi value as 3.17. So sometimes you have to give some specific values, you have to define some specific values to the variables. For example, a equal to 3. I have to define. Then you will use define section. So the define section can be used to define the values, data values to the variable names. And coming to next section, global declaration section. Global, that means public. Declaration means giving. This particular section, for example, here I am taking a equal to 5 and b equal to 6. Consider this is my program. Throughout the program, I have to use this particular a equal to 5 and b equal to 6 of any position. Then I have to declare it as a global. Global means public. Throughout the program, we can use that particular a value in anywhere. For example, if you go through internet, some videos may be having public. Some videos it will ask for registration. It asks for authentication, payment. That is a private. So in the programming also, if you want to use some variables as global, public, then you have to use this particular section, global declaration section. And another section, next one, function section. It is very, very important section of any program. So for example, consider I want to write the program, addition of two integers. This particular function section consists of two parts. One is main function section, another one is sub function or user defined function section. So main function section consists of, it is a heart of the program. It tells the compiler the beginning of the program. What is a compiler, sir? We don't know. I will tell you. As I already told you, if you write the instructions in your current programming language, English language, system doesn't know the your English language. System knows only binary language, zeros and ones. Then if you write the programming in your English language, this compiler will convert your high level language, English level language statements into system understandable language called zeros and ones. As I told you, if you take here, user is communicating with the machine, that will be possible. We cannot directly pass zeros and ones. We can communicate with the help of any C language, with the help of compiler only. If you write the English language statements by using any C language, that C language can be used, whatever the statements you have written in the English language, that will be converted with the help of compiler into zeros and ones, and then only the machine understands, and whatever the input is given in the form of output. Again I am telling, compiler, see here user will write the programs by using any language, by using English statements. Here we can take C language. It consists of our English. All programming languages are very much nearer to the English statements. Why? Because we are writing the programs, we know English language only. Okay, we will write the statements in English language. Whatever the statements you have written, that will be taken by the compiler. It will convert your English language statements into zeros and ones, then only machine understands and it gives the required output. In the same way, if you are giving a equal to 5 and b equal to 6, it will, if you have written in the program, the compiler will take it and convert into 5 into some zeros and ones, 6 into some zeros and ones. After that, it gives the operation addition and it will give the output. So in this way, compiler will perform. Why we need compiler? For the translation purpose. Its duty is translating. So that's why function section can be used. It is a main function. If you want to declare any variables, if you want to perform any operations, then this function section can be used, main function section. Then what is user defined function section? Here we had a doubt. How many functions that we can include in a single program? There is only rule is there that only one main function must be there in your program. You cannot give multiple main functions. Coming to user defined functions you can give any more. So these are the function section. So function section consists of declaration. If you want to declare any variables, you can declare in the declaration part. Don't worry, I will tell you in the next slide with example program. And coming to executable part. Executable part means if you want to perform any operations like say equal to a plus b or something, then you have to go for in this body of executable part section. So in this way, these are the possible sections that we cover in a single structure of a program. Coming to next one, I am elaborating every section. This is documentation section. It consists of comment lines. Comment lines are two types. One is single line comment. Another one is multi-line comments. So why we need comment documentation section? In order to describe your program. That thing I will tell you. This is an example program. And coming to next one, linkage section. Linkage section, if you want to link some library files in your current programming file, then you have to use the linkage section. And coming to third one, what is third one? Definition section. If you want to define specific values to the variables, then you have to use definition section, or if you want to use some symbolic constant, like I have told you, pi value is always constant value. Pi value is 3.15. 3.17. Like that, if you want to define some symbolic constants in your program, then you have to use this particular definition section. And coming to global declaration, if you want to declare any variables throughout the program as public, it is available, it is accessible, then you have to use global variables declaration section. And coming to next one, main function section. It is the important section of any program. If you take in C language, it is a heart of the program and it is a main function. Compiler verifies where is the main function. It indicates the beginning of the program. So computer knows when your program will have the main function. Okay, this is the beginning of the program. System will understand. So that's why main function is must for any C program. So these are the important functions. And coming to user defined program section means user defined function. We cannot run a program without main function, but user defined functions are optional. It is not mandatory to have a user defined function in our program. It is an optional. We can give n number of main functions also, user defined functions also in your program. So this is about structure of C program. And coming to example program for covering all the sections what we discussed in earlier in the structure of C. So you can see it in this particular program. So this is an example program in C language, addition of two integers. So here you can see this is the first one, documentation section. I am going to perform addition of two integers, my program describing that. So that's why I have written in the comment lines. So comments are, I told you, two types, single line comments, multi-line comments. If you want to comment in one line, then you have to use double slash. If you comment multiple lines, then you have to use slash star and whatever the comment you take and star slash. So I have used here multiple line comments. You can see here. So I am describing total program in comments. See, it is a program for two integers, slash star and star slash. So this is the documentation section. And coming to, this is the linkage section. What is the linkage? So I am performing here addition of two integers, two numbers. How the system will know? I have to add two numbers, and here I am printing the value of C. For example, I have taken A is 10 and B is 15. I am printing the value and store it in the C. C value is 15. It has to print. How the system know I have to print the C value as 15? Based on this particular linkage section files. This is called standard input header file, standard input output header file. So this is the predefined system related header file. It is already developed by the C language developers. So here we are telling the system to print something. Printf means it is a predefined function. When you write this particular statement, how the system know I have to print something? Why? Because this in order to activate this function, the related information is stored in this particular header file. So in order to perform printing some value, the background work is defined in this particular header file called standard input output header file. If you are not included this particular header file in your current programming file, this particular printf cannot be activated, cannot be printed. That's why I told you at the beginning, if you want to include, sometimes we have to include system related functions, programming related files into our current programming file, then only you have to use this particular section, linkage section. How we can linkage? There is not directly, it cannot be linked. We have to write the statement in the process. We need some pre-directive statements. This is called pre-directive statement. Every pre-directive statement will start with hash. So hash you have to take and you have to tell include, 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 for including something. The something is nothing but you have to tell what file I have to include. You have to tell that file in the angle brackets called file name. Here I am going to link standard input output header file. Why? Because I am going to use in my program some predefined functions. The predefined functions background work is defined in some header files. That's why I am including with the help of hash. That section is called as linkage section. Okay, next one. Next definition section. I told you if you want to define some specific values to the variables, then you have to use define section. Again, in this section also you have to use pre-directive statement called hash define. Hash define means the user is going to define something to the variables. Here I am going to define a value as 5 and b value as 6. So when I used this particular hash define, that also this background work also defined in the header file called stdio.h. So in this way I am defining two symbolic values here, a is 5 and b is 6, and after that this is the definition section. Okay, after that I have told you your program must have main function. So main function is, if you want to perform any operation, if you want to declare any variables, then you have to use main function. In that main function, whatever the brackets we have enclosed, this is a open brace and this is a closing brace, whatever brackets we have enclosed, this is called body of the function. Body of the function. So in that body, when there is a declaration part is there, I told you in the function in previous slide. In the previous slide I told you a declaration part is there, you have to declare here variables, and if you want to perform any operations, you have to declare operations here, and if you want to print something after the operation, you have to use this particular line. So in this way you have to use the main function section. Like this main function, if you want to add user defined function, user means I am going to define. So for example, consider int add int x equal to 2, int y equal to 3, add z equal to x plus y I have written. So I am going to add these two numbers in my current function. This is called user defined function. It is a main function, it is a user defined function. You can give, the C language provides you your own functions also, but there must be mandatory to have the main function. It is not a mandatory, it is optional. Both are doing same duty. Okay. So in this way you have to use all possible sections in order to write the program in a C language. So what this concept tells us, if you want to write the program in a C language, you have to cover all these possible sections. Okay. So I am going to next one. So next one, character set. Okay. Before going to this, if you go for English language, if I want to communicate in English language, first of all what I have to know? I have to know the alphabets first, A to Z, and I have to know the grammar, and I have to know how to frame the statements while I am going to communicate. So vocabulary, grammatically I have to be perfect when I want to communicate with you in English language. Like I am communicating with you in English language, at least I have to know how to communicate, and I have to know the grammatically I have to be perfect. So that is a process to learn the language. In the same way, if you want to write the programs, if you want to communicate with the computer through C language, you have to know the contents of C language. That is, one of the important content is character set. So character set means how many possible characters you are using in your programming. So there are mainly 4 to 5 types are there. 4 types are there. First one, letters. You know, we are writing the programs in our English language. Why? Because we know that language only. So okay, while we are writing the programs in English language, we must need letters from A to Z. We will use A to Z, and we will use small a to small z. So letters we must need. This is one of the important character set. And another one, digits. Why we need digits? We are communicating, we are writing the programs in order to perform some operations. Here, in the previous example, we have done some operation addition, like that subtraction, multiplication, division, all these mathematical operations we are going to handle through our programming. Then we need some mathematical numbers, that nothing but digits, 0 to 9. So it is one of the important character set to write the programs. Okay. And next, third one, special characters. Special character means sometimes, for example, if I write A plus B, in my program I have written A plus B. You know, A, B are letters. Then what is this particular symbol? It is a special symbol. So special symbols are also we will use in our programming in an efficient way in order to execute the complex or small operations. Okay, how many special symbols are there? I will tell you in the next slide. So special symbols are also the characters in the character set. And coming to next one, white spaces. For example, I have taken A and I have taken B as having some space. In computer, space is also one character. It treats space is also one character. Spaces are having different types, horizontal space, vertical space, that I will elaborate. Okay. So everything will be character in a C language in order to communicate with the computer to perform specific operations. So these are the important character sets. So first one, special characters, we know letters, digits we know. I told you how many special type of characters are there. These are the special character sets. Lot of special characters are there, I have elaborated some of them. So first one, question mark, it is a special symbol. Second one, colon, semicolon, it is a special symbol. Every special symbol having its own identity and own description in the programming. And backslash, quotation, underscore, caret, dollar, and coming to left parenthesis, right parenthesis, tilde symbol, percentage, ampersand, star, hash, every special symbol we will use in our programming for specific purpose. Okay, sir, you told that computer knows only zeros and ones, but here we are using some special symbols. How the computer will recognize it, sir? If you take numbers, okay, numbers are converted into zeros and ones. How characters A, B, how special symbols are converted into numbers, sir? Yes, it will convert. How it will convert means based on ASCII. What is ASCII? American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So ANSI defined American National Standard Institute. They have defined some ASCII values. ASCII values are numbers. ASCII values are numbers. So if you write A, system doesn't know A. The ANSI defined this particular small a is ASCII value is 97. So compiler will take it as 97 and 97 will be converted into some zeros and ones. If we take question mark, special symbol question mark, that is also having some ASCII value, consider this is a 52, that is also converted into zeros and ones. So every character will be converted into ASCII value, and ASCII value is converted into binary values, zeros and ones. Why? Because system knows that language only. So these are the possible special characters that we can use in the character set concept. So every character set, every character we can use in our programming to perform the operations, to solve the problems. So coming to next one, special characters. After that we have white spaces. Space is also considered one character, I told you. How many types of spaces are there? One is blank space, or that means horizontal space. And coming to next one, horizontal tab space. For example, A space B, tab space means 2 or 3 spaces. Tab space, horizontal tab space. Coming to carriage return. Carriage return means if you want to return, sometimes we have to return some spaces, then you go for carriage return. And coming to new line. For example, I have written line like this. After that, I will go for next line. This is nothing but a space. This is new line space. That is also space. Next, form feeding. If you written some, if you are designing some forms, you have leave some space, blank space. If you, for example, if you take fill in the blanks, that we are leaving some space for feeding, then you go for form feed space. So these are the possible types of white spaces in C language. Everything will be considered, and everything will be having some value, and everything will have its own identity to perform the operations in a flexible way. Coming to next concept, C tokens. As I told you, our main contents of today's video is structure of history of C, and next structure of C program and character set, and after that last one, C tokens. So C tokens is nothing but a token is a main building block of C language. Main building block of C language. So there are 5 to 6 tokens are there we can use in our programming to perform to do the programming in an efficient way. So token is nothing but a smallest individual unit in a C program. Everything will having its own identity to perform the programming very well. So there are 6 types of tokens are there. In that first one, constants. I think all of you know what is a constant. Constant means it is a fixed value. Fixed value. So constants are having again subtypes. I will tell you in the next slide. So next one, variables are identifiers. Variables are identifiers. What is a variable? What is an identifier? So variable, you know, if you take a equal to 10, here a is called as variable. A is called as a variable. What is the definition of variable? Variables are nothing but data elements that can be used to store the data values in the memory of the computer. So computer will have a memory, we will store the data in that memory, as we know that. So if you want to store the data values, we cannot directly store into the memory of the computer. We can store with the help of variables only. So variables means data elements. For example, if you take another variable b equal to 10, so b is a data element that can be used to store the data value in the computer memory. So that is one of the important token if you want to do the programming, if you want to perform operations through C language. Variables or identifiers are very, very important to store the data values in the memory locations. So how we can declare the variables, that we will cover in the next slide. Coming to keywords. Keywords means it is a reserved word. What is the meaning of reserved? For example, I have taken variable name as ABC. There is no meaning in that. Again, I am taking INT. It is also generally we think there is no meaning. But some reserved words are there. If you take INT like this, computer understands it is a integer. It is a type of integer. How the computer knows? When you write INT, it is reserved for some purpose by the developers of C language to identify the computer. User is going to handle integers. That means numbers. So everything normal, everything we cannot give. Sometimes some reserved words are there in our computer. That is called keywords. Keywords means important words. Some reserved statements, some reserved alphabets, they have grouped together in our programming language. While we are doing operations, we will use that. That we will cover in the next slide. How many keywords are there? I will like that. Okay. So keywords are reserved words to perform the operations. Developers of C language, they have already defined some reserved words for some specific purpose. We will use that reserved words in our programming to perform the operations in an effective way. That is also important token if you want to go for programming. And coming to next one, strings. Before knowing the strings, you know the character. Characters are nothing but A, B, and I told you question mark, person. These are the characters, special characters or symbols. Okay. Then what is a string? String is nothing but collection of characters. For example, you can say here, sir, A is a variable and AB is also a variable. Yes, you can take it. But individually you can call A is a character, and if you take V, I, G, individually they are characters. But grouped them, it is having some specific meaning. V, I, G, N, A, N, individually they are alphabets, characters. But when you grouped them, it is converted into a string. Okay, but how system will identify it, sir? It is a character or a string. Then you have to use special symbols. With the help of special symbols, for example, if you take V is a character, then you have to mention it as single quotes. For example, if you want to mention a string, if you want to tell the computer I am going to use string, then you have to use it in double quotes. Then only the system will identify it. So in this way, we can use strings also in our programming. Why? Because there is a need for strings also. So how we can write the strings? By using collection of characters. In programming, we can give the differentiation with the help of single quote and double quotes. So this is about strings. And coming to next one, special symbols. We have already discussed special symbols. So this is about the important C tokens. So this is for if you are using any symbolic constants, then you have to use constants. If you are using variables, then you have to use this particular section. If you are using reserved words, then you have to use reserved words. And strings and special symbols all will handle in the programming to perform the largest or small operations. So I will elaborate it one by one. And last one, operators. Okay. So sir, you told that letters, digits, characters, constants, variables, everything we will use in our programming. Then why there is a need for operators? I told you. So if you take A is a one variable and B is a one variable, and I have taken special symbol plus. What is the meaning of this? Individually it is a variable or character, individually it is a special symbol. I group it together. What is the meaning of it? I am doing some operation here, that is nothing but addition operation. So if you want to perform any mathematical operations in your through programming, there is a need for operators. For example, if you are doing addition operation, you need addition operator plus. If you are doing subtraction operator, then there is a need for minus. If you are using hyphen, if you are using division operator, there is a need for slash. So plus, minus, slash, star will be used as a asterisk, will be used as a multiplication. So these are the possible operators that we have, that we will cover. Okay. So operators are used to perform the operations among the operands or variables. So operators are used to perform the operations among the operands. So this is about operators. So these are the important tokens that we can use in our programming. Okay. Then we go for elaboration for everyone. First one, constants. So constants, I told you, symbolic constants. For example, 3.17 is there, pi value, it is constant throughout the program. So constants are again having two types. One is numeric constants, another one is character constants. What is a numeric constant? So for example, numeric means numbers. For example, I have taken 5. It is a numeric constant. Then what is a character constant? For example, I have taken A, it is a character. I have to declare this character as a constant. How I can declare? With the help of single quotes. Okay. So numeric constants, again they have subdivided into two types. One is integer constants and another one is real constants. What is integer constants? Integer constants are nothing but number constants. Again, integer constants are also divided into 3 subtypes that we will tell you in the next slide. And real constants are also having subtypes. And coming to character constants, they have 2 types. One is a single character constant, I told you. If you want to mention string constants, then you have to use double quotations. So character constants are again having 2 types. One is single character constant, another one is string character constants. Single character is a character, string is nothing but a collection of characters. So these are the 4 types of main categories of constants subdivided into numeric and character constants. Again they have subtypes, that is integer constants. Again they have divided into 2 types. One is 3 types. One is decimal integer constants, and second one octal integer constants, and third one hexadecimal integer constants. What is the meaning of decimal integer constants? For example, if you take number 276, it consists of decimal integer constants. The range is from 0 to 9. It is a rounded value and it is having either positive or negative. Plus, you can see here the examples, minus 7123. So these are the decimal. It consists of 1 or more digits from 0 to 9 and preceded by the optional sign. Optional sign means if you are not giving any sign, it is a positive. If you specifically mention it is a negative, you have to give the sign as a minus. Okay. So these are the examples of decimal integer constants. Coming to octal integer constants, it is having only from range is 0 to 7 and it has to be divisible with exponentials of exponentials of 2. So in this way you have to use octal integer constants. It is ranges from 0 to 7 followed by the sequence. Coming to hexadecimal integer constants. Hexadecimal integer constants, it is numeric, that means 0 to 9 you will take the range, and also you will use letters through with the help of A to F prefixed with A to F, or small capital A to capital F, or small a to small f. You can see the here example. So you can see here the example is so it is always preceded with 0x, hexadecimal number identified, it is always number starts with 0x, and you can use 0 to 9 or small a to small f or capital A to capital F. You can see the examples here. Here another example, 0x 9a 2f, 0x triple f. So these are the hexadecimal integer constants. What is these hexadecimal integer constants? Deeply you have a number system. In that video we can elaborate everything. Okay. So these are the possible integer constants. Coming to second subtype, we have real constants. Real constants are again having these are the decimal integer constants are rounded value. Real constants are having the decimal point and it is having the decimal notation, and again it will have the fractional values called 17.458, 0.83, 247.0 are valid real constants. So these are the examples of real constants. We have as fractional values. Coming to next one, again real constants are if you want to define in a exponential way also, that will also be possible. So real constants can be written in exponential way also. Here you can see the examples of real constants in exponential way with the help of mantissa exponent. So 2e minus 10, 0.5 e2, minus 5.6 e2 these are the valid real constants. So we can represent the real constants in some exponential format and in fractional values also. So this is about real constants. And coming to character constants, again I have told you subdivide into single character constants and another one string character constants. First one, single character constants. A single character constants contain a single character that always must be enclosed within a single quotations. String character constants always enclosed within double quotations. So here you can see, so this is a single character. Character means characters consist of either digits or numbers. If you take it is a character, it is a single character constant. Okay, so again it is a single character constant, and again it is a single character constant, like that. Okay, then we go for string character constants. Character constants having some integer values. I told you the ASCII value, every character will be recognized with the ASCII value. I told you the ASCII value of small a is 97. So I told you, so like that he was specifying. And coming to string character constants, it is a collection of characters, sequence of characters that is enclosed within a double quotations. Here you can see the example. So hi, I have enclosed it in a double quotes. It will be converted into ASCII. So here I am taking the string as a constant within double quotations. Here welcome, this is I am taking the double quotations. So these are the examples of string character constants. So this is about character constants. Then we go for the next one, variables or identifiers. I told you this is also one of the important concept of programming. What is a variable? I told you variables are nothing but if you want to store the data value in a particular memory location. So for example, consider this is a memory location. With the help of variable only we can store. Variables are data elements that will be used to store the data value in a computer memory locations. Okay, then how we can declare, how we can write the variables in our programming. You cannot directly give the variable name. You have to follow some set of rules while you are writing the variables. How we can write the variable rules are there. First one, I told you the rules. First one, so your variable name cannot be a keyword. I told you int. You cannot take int as a variable. Why? Because it is already reserved for specific purpose. So that's why variable name cannot be taken as a keyword. That is the first rule. And coming to your variable name, for example, I have taken AB equal to 10. So it is valid, it is a valid variable, it follows the rule, I will tell you. So variable name always starts with either alphabet or either underscore. For example, I have taken underscore x y equal to 5, it will allow. The variable name always starts with either alphabet or one special symbol it will allow, that is underscore. And next rule is variable name always consists of either alphabets or special symbols or numbers also you can give. For example, I have given x, y, 5. This is the variable name I am going to store. It will allow. So variable name you can give alphabets or you can give numbers or you can give underscore also. But when you are using numbers, you cannot give the numbers as a first alphabet of variable name. That is an important one you have to understand. You can give variable name in the middle or ending of the variable name, you can give the number. You can use the numbers. But the variable name always must start with either alphabets or one special symbol it will allow, that is underscore. Okay. And next coming to what is the range of how many characters I will give in a variable name. There is only, it will allow 31 characters. Beyond that 31 characters you cannot give the variable name. Okay. And coming to next one, it must contain a white space. You can give it, you cannot give the space within a variable name. So there is no space allowed. If you given a space, it considers A is one variable and B is another variable. You cannot give white space in a single variable name. That is also one of the important variable name. Here you can see the examples. All are I have taken, but one blue color is only valid. Why? First one you take. Here I am using hyphen, not underscore. It doesn't allow the hyphen special symbol in your variable name. That's why it is invalid. Coming to it is valid. Why? Because you can use underscore and alphabets. And here I am using caret symbol. You cannot use caret symbol in your variable name. It is a wrong one. And you cannot use dollar symbol also. It is also wrong one. So these are not valid. This is only valid variable name. Okay. So we can go for last one. So type qualifiers. So type qualifiers are nothing but this can be used for numbers. What is the meaning of type qualifiers? If you want to give any modification to the properties of data values. For example, I have taken pi as 3.17. I know that it is a fixed value. Throughout the program, I want to tell it is a constant. Then you have to use type qualifier as constant. Or you can take a equal to 5. I am declared const. Constant means it's a equal to 5 is fixed for throughout the program. Coming to volatile means it may be changed. Not static, not constant. It may be changed. The opposite of constant is volatile. So if you want to change the values by some space of line, some lines of coding has done, after that you change the value, you can change. That is a constant and volatile. These are the type qualifiers specifically used to change the modification of the properties of the data values. Coming to type modifiers are completely based on the range, two types. One is range and another one is sign. So range is also called as size. So type modifiers are also called as size modifiers, sign modifiers. There are four types are there. One is short, long, signed, unsigned. These two are called as size and these two are called as signed. These are specifically used for the numbers or data values of the variables. What I will tell you. Short means, for example, I am taking 10 to 1000. This is one range. Sometimes I have to handle 10,000 to 1 lakh also. Then it is a largest range of values of numbers. How I will tell the compiler I am going to use short range and long range. Then you have to use these particular type modifiers. Short means I am using short range of numbers. Long means I am using long range of numbers. System will know it. Okay. Again, what is the signed and unsigned? For example, I have taken 6. 6 is a number. Before 6, there is no symbol is there, means what automatically what is there? Plus. Plus means it is a signed positive integer. For example, I am not assigned any value. This means unsigned. Unsigned means it is a positive. For example, if you want to particularly sign it, then you have to sign it either plus or minus. So if you want to tell my number is either positive or negative, then you have to use a sign symbol by using signed type modifier. Unsigned means defaultly it is a positive, you didn't give any sign, then automatically it is a positive. So then you don't want to mention any sign, then you go for unsigned modifier. These all are used for the numbers, either integers or floating values, or different types of data types are there, that there we will discuss. Okay. So these are the type modifiers. And last one, we had a keywords and operators. So these are the keywords that we will use. So there are 32 keywords. I told you 32 keywords means reserved words. These all are having the specific purpose. We cannot use these all words as a variable names. Okay. So int is for integer numbers, float is for fractional values, character is for characters, alphabets, struct is for structures, short, ranges, void, functions, and long is for long data types. So these are for storage classes, for, volatile, auto, continue, go to, while, static, constant, return, all are having some specific purpose. So all these 32 keywords are having specific purpose. These are reserved words. So we can elaborate these in the next video session. And coming to the last one in our today's video presentation, that is operators. So operators, I told you, to perform the operations among the operands, then we will use operators. So these are the possible operators we can use in our mathematical operations. So first one, I will tell you, first one, arithmetic operators means addition, subtraction, multiplication, we can use arithmetic operators. Relational means less than, greater than, to compare the data values we can use relational operators. Logical means, so to perform on the bits of the memory location, then you can use logical operators. Assignment operators means if you want to assign some values, for example a equal to 5 I am going to assign into a with the help of assignment operator. Again assignment with addition, assignment I am going to add, assignment subtraction, like that. Increment means if for example I have taken a value as 5, I want to increase the value by 1, then I will use increment operator, then it becomes 6. So you want to decrease the value also, it will possible, that is a decrement operator. And coming to conditional operator, if you want to compare the data values of two variables, then you go for conditional operator. Then coming to bitwise operator, if you want to perform more complex operations on bits of the memory locations of the variable, then you go for bitwise and bitwise or bitwise exclusive or bitwise, like that we will go. And coming to special operators, these are specifically designed for some purpose, that is comma operator and size of operator. If you want to mention the size of the specific data values of the variable, then you will go for the comma operator, special operators. So these are the operators that we will cover to perform the operations among the variables. So in this way we have to learn the basic fundamentals of C programming in this video. So, thank you very much.